Well, hello. How are you guys? I haven't done any videos in a long time, so let me know how you're doing in the comment section if you have the time to, or the inclination to. I had some pretty awkward moments in Sunday school class today, I guess you could say. How these people, these old timers and good old boys, and really talking about how, you know, oh, it's such a shame that we've taken prayer out of school, and they're just persecuting us, and they're just, they're telling us we can't pray in school, and we can't pray at football games, and we can't pray in all these places and stuff like that, and my first thought on that kind of stuff is there were how many Christians were beheaded by ISIS? I mean, isn't that persecution? I mean, the fact that we don't get to run the show and dominate all other people does not mean that we are being persecuted. I did a video a long time ago about this when Jessica Alquist had successfully got a banner taken down in school. It was the Lord's Prayer, I think, or something was the banner that was up, and the school she was going to, she was an atheist, and she said, that's a, church and state, you can't do that. And there were all these Christians who came out, and they were telling her they hoped that she died and drowned in holy water, and saying all these horrible, horrific things, and, not exactly what you would picture Jesus doing. So I threw my 2 cents in, and I told them what I thought about these kind of matters, about how when I pay my public tax dollars for school, I don't want my kids coming home asking me why we don't pray to the one true God, Allah, or why we don't pray to God through his intercessor, Saint Mary, or, it's like, I told them my solace that I take, and that is what Christ said, I will build my church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. He didn't say I'll build my school or my federal capitol building or anything like that. He said I will build my church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. Why do we want prayer in school? Do we not teach our children these things at home? Do we expect teachers in school to do it for us? I mean, I don't know. I guess some people, I don't know. And so, I kind of had made comments to this effect months ago or weeks ago, and the gentleman who pointed all this out was like looking right at me when he said all this stuff, so I guess he was directing it toward me some fashion. I don't know, maybe not. But I don't know. Anyway, I pointed out the reasons why we shouldn't have prayer in school, because once you have one kind of prayer in school, you have to allow everybody to pray to their gods in school. And especially with children, I want my children, I don't want them growing up hating atheists. I don't want them growing up hating the gay and lesbian community. I don't want them to grow up hating Muslims. I don't want them to grow up hating anybody at all. I want them to have the love of Christ for everyone that they encounter. I don't want them to be prejudiced or made prejudiced against different sects of society. And once you have every child from every different background and their religious preferences and whatever catered to during public school time, the teachers are not going to be able to teach. Little kids are going to think other little kids are enemies. Little kids are going to, and Christ, Christ did not limit his teaching to the Jews. He made his way accessible to all forms of life. How many times does he tell parables about the Good Samaritan and how the Samaritan, who was supposedly the Samaritans were despised by the Jews at that time, how the Samaritan was actually the one who had a right heart and a right standing with God based on the things that, evidences the fruit of the Spirit that you could see in that person's life over religiosity. So I don't know if anybody liked what I had to say in this southern climate of Christianity over here in the U.S. But my motto is say what you got to say and let the chips fall where they may, because people are either going to... I would rather have real relationships with people. And how do you have real relationships with people? You tell them the truth about how you feel about things. And if it's something that they absolutely cannot abide, then they can part ways with you. If they feel that strongly about it. So anyway, that's the experience that I had today that I wanted to kind of vent about. And I hope my point makes sense to somebody out there. Maybe, My husband's co-worker has a great line. He says, when people want to throw down about why there's not prayer in school anymore and all this stuff, he says, you don't teach your children, you don't teach that at home? I don't know, guys. So I have rambled on for 8.5 minutes or more, and that's probably enough to drive y'all crazy. So I'm going to say goodbye for now. And thanks for listening. If you had the time, feel free to share with me any of your thoughts on the matter. Bye-bye.